When we look closely at the way professional gamblers approach their world, the first and most important lesson they carry is that uncertainty is the only certainty. To most people, uncertainty feels like a threat, a shadow over their plans, something to fear and avoid. But gamblers don't see it this way. They know that every roll of the dice, every card dealt, every turn of the wheel is unknown, and no matter how much they may prepare, the outcome can never be guaranteed. Instead of letting this reality paralyze them, they embrace it. They accept the chaos of chance, not as an obstacle, but as the true nature of the game they are in. And that lesson translates far beyond the casino. Life itself is a continuous stream of unknowns. You cannot predict with perfect accuracy what tomorrow will bring, no matter how carefully you schedule, how much you plan, or how deeply you hope. The storms will come, the markets will change, people will surprise you, opportunities will disappear or appear without warning. The gambler's secret is not to fight this, but to move with it. Most of us live with the illusion of control, cling to routines, to jobs, to systems, hoping they will give us a safety net. But the truth is, nothing is as solid as it seems. A sudden illness, a shifting economy, a technological disruption. These things remind us that certainty is fragile. Professional gamblers live without this illusion every day. They don't walk into a game expecting security. They walk in prepared for volatility. They don't waste energy complaining when a hand turns against them. They know the next hand might restore what was lost. In this way, they teach us something powerful. Resilience comes from accepting that life is not fixed but fluid. The ability to adapt is worth more than the desire to control. Think of how this applies to leadership, to business, to personal growth. The most successful entrepreneurs in history are not those who demanded a guaranteed path, but those who stepped into the unknown and built strategies as they went. The same is true of scientists who test theories, explorers who venture into uncharted lands, or artists who create something new without any promise of recognition. They all live with the same truth gamblers accept, that outcomes are uncertain, but effort, creativity, and discipline increase the odds of something remarkable. The tragedy for many people is that they try to eliminate uncertainty instead of mastering it. They want guarantees before they act, and in waiting for certainty, they miss their chance. The gambler never waits for certainty because it never comes. The wisdom here is simple but profound. The world is not designed to give you guarantees. It is designed to test how well you can live without them. The sooner you learn to accept uncertainty as the permanent state of things, the more powerful and free you become. This is why professional gamblers survive in environments where most people fail. They are not chasing certainty. They are dancing with uncertainty. And in that dance, they reveal the first secret of the world. Nothing is guaranteed, but everything is possible. Professional gamblers understand something most people never take the time to see. Probability is the invisible force shaping reality. To the untrained eye, life looks like a series of random events. Some people win, others lose. Some get lucky breaks. Others fall into hardship. But to a professional gambler, nothing is ever just luck. It is probability at work. Every card drawn, every spin of the roulette wheel, every roll of dice exists within the laws of mathematics. The future cannot be predicted with certainty, but it can be measured in likelihoods. This is why gamblers are not mystics or dreamers. They are analysts. They calculate odds, weigh risks, and make decisions that are not based on wishful thinking, but on the science of probability. And this perspective gives them an advantage not only in games, but in life. In the broader world, probability surrounds us in everything we do, yet most people fail to acknowledge it. Consider the way people react to rare disasters. A plane crash happens, and suddenly thousands of people are afraid to fly, even though the probability of dying in a car accident is far greater. Or look at financial markets. Investors often panic when stocks dip, even though history and statistics show that markets rise over the long term. These mistakes come from ignoring probability and relying on emotion or perception. The gambler, however, is trained to see through illusion. They know that even when randomness appears to rule, patterns emerge when viewed over time They understand that probability is not a guarantee of any single outcome, but a guide to long-term strategy. In business, this gambler's mindset can be transformative. Imagine an entrepreneur launching a new product. There is no certainty it will succeed, but probability offers insight. Market research, customer behavior, historical trends all provide percentages, signals that point toward likely outcomes. A professional gambler would recognize that success is never guaranteed, but by stacking the odds in their favor, the entrepreneur increases their chances of winning. In life, the same applies to relationships, careers, and even health. Cannot control the future, but you can make choices that statistically improve your chances of a good outcome, investing in learning, cultivating strong networks, exercising discipline. These things are not guarantees, but they raise the probability of living a successful and fulfilling life. What separates professionals from amateurs is their respect for the numbers. An amateur gambler might get swept up by superstition, believing a machine is due for a win or that luck is on their side. A professional knows this is an illusion. They don't play the odds they want. They play the odds that exist. And when they lose, they don't see it as betrayal, but as part of the probability curve. Losses are inevitable, but over time, smart decisions based on probability lead to net gains. This is not just gambling strategy. It is a philosophy for life. The secret, then, is simple but powerful. Probability is the language of reality. Those who ignore it stumble through life confused by luck and fate, while those who master it make decisions with clarity and foresight. Gamblers know the truth that life isn't about eliminating risk, but about managing it with mathematics. They understand that the world doesn't deal in certainties, but in percentages. And when you learn to think like that, stop being a spectator of chance and start becoming a player in shaping your future. In the world of gambling, where fortunes can swing wildly in a matter of seconds, the most dangerous enemy is not the dealer, the dice, or even the odds. It is emotion. Professional gamblers know that emotions cloud judgment faster than anything else. Fear, anger, and even overconfidence can turn a well-calculated decision into a reckless mistake. They understand that discipline, not passion, separates winners from losers. A gambler who gets too excited after a win may raise their bets without strategy, and one who panics after a loss may chase it desperately, throwing good money after bad. Both cases, logic disappears and emotion takes control. The professional, however, knows that if they are to survive, their mind must remain clear, steady, untangled from the rush of adrenaline. When we look at the world beyond the casino, this lesson is just as relevant. Emotions drive many of the world's greatest mistakes. Financial markets collapse not just because of numbers, but because of mass panic when investors allow fear to dominate their decisions. Wars have been started because leaders allowed pride or anger to overrule reason. On a personal level, relationships crumble when jealousy or insecurity dictates actions rather than calm understanding. We like to think of ourselves as rational beings, but the truth is, humans are emotional creatures first. Professional gamblers train themselves to recognize this, and more importantly, to resist it. They build habits and systems that keep their decisions rooted in strategy rather than impulse. Think about how often people let emotions sabotage their goals. Someone trying to save money may splurge out of stress or boredom. A professional trying to advance in their career might quit suddenly in frustration rather than weighing long-term consequences. Athletes may lose focus under pressure when nerves override preparation. What the gambler teaches us is that emotions will always be present. You cannot erase them, but you can choose whether they control your actions. The discipline to pause, to breathe, and to return to strategy is what keeps them alive in a game designed to break those who act impulsively. This mastery of emotion is not about being cold or robotic. It is about balance. Gamblers know how to feel the thrill of the game without letting it dictate their decisions. They understand that confidence is necessary, but arrogance is destructive. They accept loss without despair and accept wins without delusion. That ability to stay steady in both victory and defeat is rare, but it is exactly what makes them effective. The world, like the casino, is unpredictable, and in both arenas, Those who can regulate their emotions will always outperform those who can't. The secret is that emotion is a poor compass for long-term success. It may inspire, but it cannot guide. The professional gambler survives because they let reason lead and emotion follow. They remind us that clarity in the face of chaos is a superpower. And in a world where pressure is constant and stakes are high, mastering emotion may be the most valuable skill of all. Timing is one of the most overlooked forces in the world. Professional gamblers know it as a law of survival. In the casino, timing separates those who quietly build steady gains from those who burn out in a single reckless night. A gambler understands that it is not only about what you bet, but when you choose to place that bet. Every game has its rhythm, and within that rhythm, there are moments of opportunity and moments of danger. The amateur wants action all the time, constantly placing bets to feel alive. The professional waits, watches, and holds back until the timing aligns with their strategy. They know that patience is not weakness but power. Sometimes the strongest move is the one not made. In life, this same principle applies in every field. Think of business. A brilliant idea launched too early can fail simply because the world isn't ready for it. The same idea, introduced at the right time, can change industries. Timing determines whether a startup thrives or vanishes. In careers too, timing matters. A promotion may come not because someone is the most talented, but because they made their move when leadership was watching, when the opportunity was ripe. Even in personal life, timing shapes everything. Meeting the right person at the wrong time can mean a missed connection, while meeting at the right time can change the course of an entire future. Just as gamblers fold when the odds are not in their favor, successful people in life know when to wait and when to act decisively. The world moves in cycles, markets rise and fall, technologies emerge and fade, social trends grow and collapse. Those who succeed are often those who sense these cycles and adjust their timing. Professional gamblers spend hours studying patterns so they know when the table has shifted. They remind us that waiting is not wasting time, it is part of the discipline of winning. The truth is, opportunities do not come on command. They arrive unexpectedly. Often they are brief. If you are impatient or distracted, you will miss them. If you are attentive and patient, you will be ready. But there is another side to timing that gamblers know well: quitting. Walking away is as important as knowing when to engage. The novice gambler stays too long, desperate for one more win, while the professional leaves when the odds turn unfavorable. In life too, knowing when to walk away can save fortunes, reputations, and futures. Whether it is leaving a toxic relationship, exiting a declining market, or closing a failing project, the courage to quit at the right time is just as valuable as the courage to start. The lesson here is that timing is not luck. It is awareness combined with patience. The professional gambler teaches us that every decision has a window, and success comes from aligning action with that window. The world will never give constant opportunity, but it will always give moments. The secret is to be ready when those moments arrive and wise enough to hold back when they don't. In the long run, timing is the difference between winning occasionally and winning consistently. Every professional gambler walks into the casino with a simple, unshakable awareness. The house always has an edge. No matter how clever the strategy, no matter how hot the streak, the system itself is designed to tilt against the player over time. The slot machines are programmed to pay out less than they take in. The roulette wheel is built with odds stacked in the house's favor. The rules of the games ensure that the casino wins more often than it loses. Amateurs either ignore this or deny it. They convince themselves that luck or persistence can beat the system. Professionals, however, accept it as reality. They don't waste energy fighting the edge. Instead, they learn to play within it, around it, and sometimes, despite it, they know that survival comes not from believing the game is fair, but from acknowledging its bias and adjusting strategy accordingly. The truth is, life itself works in much the same way. Every system we interact with, governments, corporations, institutions, has its own edge. Taxes are structured to benefit certain groups. Markets favor those with resources and inside information. Even social structures reward those who fit within certain molds. Most people walk blindly into these systems, believing in fairness or assuming the rules apply equally to everyone. But professional gamblers teach us the opposite. The world is not neutral. It has edges. Those edges shape outcomes. To thrive, you cannot ignore them. You must see them, study them, and find ways to work with or around them. Consider the workplace. Some employees believe that hard work alone will get them ahead, but the house edge in many companies lies in office politics, networking, or the timing of opportunities. Those who ignore this edge may work endlessly and still feel stuck, while those who understand it position themselves more effectively. Or look at financial markets. The average investor often feels cheated when professionals make huge profits during a crash or boom. The difference is not always skill alone, it is awareness. Professionals know where the edge lies and they use it. Acknowledging the edge is not about giving up hope or refusing to try. It is about entering the game with clarity. The gambler who knows the house edge does not waste time chasing impossible outcomes. They focus instead on maximizing short-term opportunities, managing risk carefully, leaving before the edge erodes their gains. In life, this translates into smart decision-making. Don't expect the system to favor you. Don't complain that the game isn't fair. Recognize where the bias lies and adapt. That mindset gives you power, even in an unfair world. The gambler's secret here is harsh but liberating. The system always has the advantage. But once you accept that, you stop playing blindly and start playing strategically. Stop hoping the world will bend to your desires and start learning how to bend within the world. And sometimes that awareness itself becomes your edge. The house may always win in the long run, but individuals who understand the rules deeply can carve out their victories along the way. That is how professional gamblers survive, and how we too can thrive in a world that is never as even as it seems. When professional gamblers sit down at the table, they are not thinking about the next hand alone. They are thinking about thousands of hands, about the long arc of play, about how probability and discipline will shape their journey over weeks, months, and even years. To them, a single win or a single loss is almost meaningless in isolation. What matters is the cumulative outcome over time. This is perhaps the most profound secret they carry about the world. True success is not defined by a single moment, but by the long game. In gambling, as in life, anyone can get lucky once. Anyone can hit a jackpot or stumble into a sudden opportunity, but luck does not sustain itself. What sustains is consistency, patience, and the discipline to keep playing strategically when others are distracted by short-term highs and lows. In the broader world, people are often obsessed with immediate results. They want quick profits, instant recognition, overnight transformations. When those things do not come, they feel defeated. But the gambler knows better. They know that a bad night does not mean failure, just as a good night does not guarantee success. They live by the law of averages, trusting that with discipline and persistence, the numbers will balance in their favor over time. Imagine if more people approach their goals this way. The student who fails one exam might not give up on their education. The entrepreneur whose first business collapses would see it not as an end, but as part of the long journey to success. The athlete who loses a game would not abandon their career, but train harder for the next season. This perspective demands resilience. It means learning to detach from the drama of the present moment and see it as part of a larger pattern. Professional gamblers are masters of this. They never let one hand of poker define their self-worth. They never let one lucky streak trick them into believing they are invincible. They accept the ebb and flow, knowing that their strategy, applied consistently over time, matters more than any individual outcome. This is a mindset we all need in a world that constantly tempts us with instant gratification. Think of how this principle applies to building wealth, relationships, even personal growth. True wealth is not built from a single lucky investment, but from decades of disciplined choices. Strong relationships are not the result of one romantic gesture, but a consistent trust and effort over years. Personal mastery, whether in art, science, or leadership, is not the product of a weekend course, but of patient practice, failure, and refinement across a lifetime. The gambler understands this truth intuitively because their very survival depends on it. They are not seduced by the short term, they are anchored in the long term. The secret here is that life is not about winning once. It is about staying in the game. Losses will come, setbacks will sting, and victories will sometimes feel hollow. But if you keep playing, keep learning, and keep refining your approach, the long game will tilt in your favor. Professional gamblers remind us that resilience outshines brilliance, that consistency outweighs luck, and that endurance is the ultimate currency of success. The world rewards not those who win quickly, but those who win steadily, who understand that the story of life is written not in single moments, but in the patterns we create across time.